You know, I'm pretty excited about this experience that I'm getting ready to have here coming up soon. Oh, what's that experience you're getting ready to have? Oh, well, you know, I'm going to this retreat center in a few months, and they're basically going to inject me with some unknown substances, and those are supposed to put me into a state of unity with God so that I can actually speak to Him directly. Sound cool? Yeah. No. Don't do that. You're fucking crazy, man. Don't do that. Sorry. Too late. Well, I survived. Hey, what's up, guys? My name's Ko, and I've had over 1,000 psychedelic journeys. LSD, MDMA, psilocybin, ayahuasca, just to name a few. Ketamine, that's considered a psychedelic these days, isn't it? Yeah. And macrodoses, microdoses, prolonged stretches of sobriety, and then condensed and consolidated, massive, potent journeys, just going crazy with it, basically. And yeah, a lot of experimentation, a lot of different mind states that I've been in, sets and settings, etc. Upstairs, downstairs, all around the town stairs, as you do with psychedelics. And what I've come to find is that there's still a lot more to be explored and a lot more to be gained. And on this video, I'm going to talk about a particular medicine journey that I went on, where I was given some unknown substances and experienced the most profound journey of my psychedelic lifetime. So let's get to it. So yeah, like I said, I was a little bit hesitant to do this video in the first place because I obviously wanted to maintain the anonymity and protection of the organization, the center that performed this experiment on me. As well as, you know, just because of the nature of the topic, it is very controversial. And, you know, there's just been some attacks on me personally and people around me in my life and things, and it's just a weird fucking time that we're living in. You know, it's like you could post something on social media and then, you know, it can be an opinion, let's say, that's used against you later on, or maybe something you shared because of an experience you went through and you had, and you thought it was pretty cool and you want to share with people, and then, you know, later on it comes back to bite you in the ass because there's people just searching and digging and looking for ways to fuck people over. Well, that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem, that hopefully these types of experiences and protocols and the people who are working to bring this stuff more, I wouldn't say into the public, but into people's lives who are ready for it, are seeking to change about the world that we live in, to stop being so backbiting and competitive and just nasty, and starting to be more compassionate and understanding and working together, and so stop being so fucking judgmental. It's like we understand that, you know, that things have changed. The world has changed. Things are continuously evolving, and to hold the present world in the old paradigms, to make people wrong and guilty and shamed because of their beliefs that they hold, even in beliefs that they held 2 years ago, let's say, or 6 months ago. We should constantly be evolving, right? We shouldn't be afraid, so, you know, vulnerable to attack because of something that we think or say. To me, whenever it happens, and it's been happening quite a bit recently, it always boggles my mind. It's like, oh, because I said this thing and I'm associated with this person, and now they're being attacked because of their association with me because I said something on my YouTube channel 2 years ago. It's like, it's just fucking madness. Are we living in communist China, or is this not still the land of the free? I don't even know anymore. Anyways, so I only told a few people about this journey that I was going to experience, and not surprisingly, because even people who are close to me, many of them thought I was crazy for moving forward with this, and well, perhaps they're not wrong. I don't know, but nonetheless, you know, just if you look at it on paper, if you just kind of read about it, or if I even tell you the story, I realize every time I'm telling the story of what I'm about to do to people, I'm just like, this sounds so insane. And eventually, I just got to the point where it's like, I don't even care what it sounds like. I know it sounds crazy, so why don't we even make it sound more crazy? So, you know, let me, I'll give you a little bit of a tidbit of how I would describe this journey I was about to embark on. You know, I'm pretty excited about this experience that I'm getting ready to have here coming up soon. Oh, what's that experience you're getting ready to have? Oh, well, you know, I'm going to this retreat center in a few months, and they're basically going to inject me with some unknown substances, and those are supposed to put me into a state of unity with God so that I can actually speak to Him directly. Sound cool? Yeah. No. Don't do that. You're fucking crazy, man. Don't do that. Sorry. Too late. Well, I survived.
Are you fucking crazy, Holmes?
Well, that's a matter of opinion. But if you go by the popular pseudoscience from back in the day, remember they used to say, if you take LSD, what was it, more than 10 times, you're legally insane. You're clinically insane at that point, for sure. Ah, damn. I bypassed that more than a few times. Yeah. Anyways, so I've had some experience with these things, for sure. And I also knew a friend of mine who had been through the process. A couple friends of mine actually gone through it, a client of mine. They all reported the same thing. It was safe. It was really incredibly powerful. There was an integration period that followed that was, work you had to go through. And it was life-changing, ultimately life-changing. And I want to go back, and I'm taking you with me, man. Come on, let's go do it. Join the club. And for a number of reasons, it's ironic because I had previously, in the year prior, completely stopped all medicine journeys and disavowed them. Basically, I was pretty sure I was done with that whole thing. But when this opportunity came up, it was something new. I had never experienced this before. It wasn't a trip necessarily to get fucked up or high and things, but it was really something that sounded quite profound, that was very little known. Most people will never have access to this, not just because it's not advertised, but also because it was an extraordinary amount of money to go to this place, like a lot of money, like I could have bought a car. Nonetheless, would I have done it again? Hell yes. Was it worth every penny? Yes. But that's all besides the point. The fact of the matter is, I had just decided ultimately, well, I've had 1,000 trips before. I wasn't going to do this ever again, but this is something different, and maybe there's some benefit there. What the hell? What's one more going to hurt? And so I just went ahead and decided, yeah, I'm going to take this journey. And I'm glad I did. So a couple of months ago, some friends and I went to a little-known plant medicine retreat, and were given several unknown substances which were designed to put us into a state of complete freedom from the clutches of the ego, and to be able to establish a direct link to our souls so that we could communicate with this deep part of ourselves, probably for the first time, with such clarity. And let me tell you, it was the most profound experience I have ever undergone. It was orders of magnitude above any psychedelic experience I had had prior to that, which I've had thousands. And it was completely revelatory and eye-opening in terms of what is possible to experience within my own self. A level of peace, freedom, and love. You go through this experience, and it's very akin to what dying must be like. I've never died before in this lifetime anyways, but I've had some close calls and some near-death sort of experiences. But definitely there was a familiarity to the process. As the medicine began to take hold and I slipped deeper and deeper inside of myself, it was very much like a homecoming. Coming home to myself in a depth and capacity that I had never experienced before in this life. It was far, far, far beyond any other chemical substances, meditative experiences. Nothing approached this in its simplicity, in its silence, in its stillness, and in its beauty. And I have to say that it is by far the most profoundly beautiful experience I've ever had in my life. And there was basically zero content to the experience. It wasn't like there was flashing lights, beautiful images, and deities swirling around rainbows. I've seen all that stuff. I've experienced that on other journeys. This was different in that there was none of that, zero. It was still, silent darkness, emptiness, no thought, no ego, no sense of separation, no boundaries. My body dissolved. And for the first time in my life, I felt completely, and I mean profoundly, safe. I can't really describe this level of safety that I felt within myself. It's kind of hard to explain, it's hard to describe, because I don't normally think of myself as feeling unsafe. But by comparison, the contrast, when I felt so absolutely safe, because obviously if I didn't have a body, it felt like I didn't have a body, I didn't have boundaries. Well, if I don't have a body, well, there's nothing to protect, right? There's nothing that can be harmed. So I was harmless in that sense, like unharmable. How are you going to hurt a soul or a spirit? Kind of hard. There's nothing to, poke at and prod at. So it was a real awakening to this deeper self that I had. And I know that it's the same for everyone. This is clearly and obviously an experience that is widespread. That is an experience that all human beings should know, would know, could they be able to contact the depth of themselves in that way. Hope that makes sense. So anyways, words aren't not going to do it justice. I'm just doing the best that I can to give a couple pointers to the experience because, I know I've said it before. It was so profound. And some truths came out, some revelations came out as a result of it. I remember feeling and sensing directly at one point in time that this entire universe is built on the fabric of love. And I remembered at a certain point, like, I've heard that before, like I've read that before. I've heard saints and poets and, spiritually enlightened folks talk about how love is the only reality, man. And like, yeah, that shit sounds nice. But, it's a whole different... to actually experience it, to actually see it directly, to know it, to feel it, to sense it with every fiber of your being, that there is nothing in this world that's not built upon this fabric of love. Very, very profound. Quite a shift, Of course, did it last? Well, it was an experience, and like all experiences, they have a half-life, right? They have a beginning, a middle, an end, and then we have a new experience. But an experience like that definitely shifts us. It creates a new context for all of our experience moving beyond that, provided that we really sort of work to cultivate it, because otherwise it could just be like a memory, like a cool dream that you had where everything seemed perfect, but then you wake up and of course now you're back in this world here and things are not perfect. You don't sense that things are built on the fabric of love in every moment at that depth and certainty and inner knowing that's unshakable. And so there's work involved for sure, and it's not just panacea that you could just take this thing and then everything's going to be rainbows and unicorns from here on out. But nonetheless, an experience like that does shift you. I know I've read and heard many people talk about this. Specifically, I think of Buddhists when I think about this story, because they were the ones that first were putting this kind of thought out to me. Was that psychedelics, LSD, hallucinogens, and things like that? It's just an experience. It doesn't really mean anything, And I thought that was true for a while, but then as I really examined it, I was like, no, that's actually not true. That's not true in my experience. For sure, it comes and goes, and it's not the drug that's the thing, right? And you can't recreate that experience when you're in there, but it gives you a window into an alternate reality. We could say a paradigm shift. And, it's like a man who's lived in a cave his entire life and never seen anything. And then one day he wakes up and there's a window. And he peers out the window and sees there's a whole other world out there. Now you could say, well, that was just an experience and he's still in the cave, right? But that experience is going to alter the rest of his life. Now he knows that there's something more. There's something to work towards. There's another way of seeing things. There's another whole other world and universe out there that he was unaware of. And so it's far more than just an experience. But it's not just the experience. There's work to be done. It has to be integrated. those realizations and things, they are real, you know, but if we don't work to shift our mindset, our attitude, our way of being, our approach to life, eventually we'll kind of fall back into our old way of being, and then not really anything has changed. But the opportunity, nonetheless, is there for a massive shift, a transformation, a complete overhaul of our psyche, our approach to life, the way we interact with others, our goals, our mission, our purpose, our sense of why we are here, and what it means to even be embodied, and what is this life, and what am I? All of these questions start to get answered in a very, very direct way. Alright, that's all I got for this one. Give me a thumbs up there if you liked this video, and consider subscribing. If you have any questions, I'm not going to get into the specifics of the retreat center or things like that, but I'll be happy to answer any questions that I'm able to and feel comfortable answering. And keep the conversation going. And if there's more that you'd like to know about my own particular journey with psychedelics and or meditation, Tai Chi, spirituality, religion, put them in the comments and I will for sure respond. Until next time, my friends, be well, and I'll talk to you soon. See you on another one.
Just tell me what to